If you enjoy movies, comic books, and pop culture, be sure to like and subscribe.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC Podcast, brought to you by REC Comics and Collectibles. I'm your host, Roman Chavez. With me, as always,
Erik Icarus.
did you forget your name?
I did. I was looking at your butt.
Well, it's there for looking, kids.
Yeah.
Touching will cost you. You can follow us on Instagram at REC Podcast. You can follow myself at Roman REC Podcast. You can follow the shop at REC Comics, or you can come check us out at 7679 North Union Boulevard in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And you can see the Big Tuna on screen this week. Woo woo! We missed you for the last two, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, he's got a real job, though.
He's got a real,
That's
he's got a real life. I mean, I'm a business owner, but that's cool.
Yeah. That's all good.
Have
This vanity project you got going here.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, like all of the videos are just me. Yeah, like there's no audio of you guys. It's just me.
Yeah.
I'm the only
So it
subscriber.
looks like you're talking to yourself.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
awesome. It's funny because I have been getting questions about the show.
Sure.
And someone did ask me why is Jordan not on all the time?
Yeah.
And I did answer he does have a real job. I obviously didn't say the job,
Yeah.
but I just say no. He's got a really pressing, important job. So
Gentleman
he's
ghost.
here when he can be here, and we always love it when he's here.
Yes.
The other one I want to answer is I do own more than one black T-shirt and black pair of jeans.
Yeah.
And I don't wear the cowboy shirts anymore because at my new job, I am required to wear those said cowboy shirts, and I don't want to wear them outside of work anymore.
This just feels like something you could have told your mom to her face.
I know, yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
But it's good to have Tuna back in the driver's seat, completing this tripod of nerddom.
Mm-hmm.
We have some things coming up. But first I want to say somebody came into the shop today, kind of a blast from the past. Jordan, were you there when Tom was working at the theater? Thomas White?
What? Yeah.
Yeah. Tom came in the shop today.
Awesome.
Came to say hello. Hadn't seen him in years. Didn't recognize him. He doesn't look great. You tell him, Doug. And but it was really cool to see somebody I hadn't seen in a very long time. It's weird, because I used to run into people all the time at the theater. I'm sure you run into people at the restaurant.
I do.
Jordan, if you're running into any friends at school, that's not good. That's not good.
So what do we do when there's a lull on the show?
So when there's a lull in the show, I don't know, man. We fill it in with this. We fill it in with that.
So was he like a manager too?
No. He was an employee, somebody that we worked closely with, and it was just cool to see. You never know who's going to walk through those doors. And maybe Jordan's dad will come back through.
He does.
We have Free Comic Book Day coming up, kids. Free Comic Book Day. It's not as cool as it sounds.
I think it's cooler.
It is cooler than
Yes!
it sounds. May 6th, the first Saturday in May, which is always Free Comic Book Day. Last year was the first one since the pandemic. All of you guys came out in force,
it
was our busiest sales day to that point.
Yes.
So thank you guys. We're back, baby. We're going to have the free comic book selections. We're going to be doing store-wide discounts. We're going to be, the Bomb Dude is going to be in attendance. Big Tuna may show up once or twice. We'll see what happens. And we're going to be doing our patented free raffle.
Yes.
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 Everybody who comes in gets a free ticket, and for every $10 you spend, you get another ticket. What will we be giving away? We'll tell you closer to the day. Follow us on Instagram at REC Comics. The news, kids.
Yes.
The news is always the news.
Right.
We talked about this a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Jonathan Majors was arrested. Well, I don't know if he was actually arrested.
He was arrested.
Okay.
He
He was
was
arrested
detained.
for some type of altercation.
You want me to read it real fast?
Please.
Okay, on March 25th, 2023, Majors was arrested on assault, strangulation, and harassment charges stemming from a domestic dispute with a 30-year-old woman who sustained minor injuries to her head and neck and was removed to an area hospital, according to the NYPD.
Right.
He was released from custody that day. His spokesperson has denied these allegations.
Yes. And it seemed like the charges were dropped, this and that.
There are a lot of conflicting things happening. There are text messages pulled from this woman's phone saying
Did
that
he strangle her through the phone?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my gosh.
He put one of them choke memes.
Yeah,
the choke emojis. But she's allegedly saying that she's sorry for this, and she's denying that she was hurt.
Yeah.
And she's kind of backpedaling on her story, but it's not helping Jonathan Majors much.
Big Tuna, what was the news today?
Yeah, so the news today is that Entertainment 360 and Lead Company, which are kind of two separate entities that are representative of Jonathan Majors. I believe one is a talent agency, one is a PR firm. Both have dropped him as a client. Now, again, you can play the speculation game all day long about what does this mean for his future in the MCU. Obviously, we're supposed to be seeing this massive undertaking of essentially 2 phases in the MCU, launching with Kang and then ending with Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. They wanted to make Majors the villain face, and I don't know if he's a method actor, but I will say though,
you're too close.
I will say though, as an amateur law enthusiast, of course, he's of course innocent until proven guilty. When it comes to Hollywood, people have been accused of doing some pretty horrendous, awful, horrendous things that they were never party to, and that became known later. However, Hollywood does have a short memory, and I do think that there is a concern about a person's level of toxicity, and especially them being tied to what is currently the one of the largest movie franchises, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's some concern. That's not to say, however, that there's any form of secret knowledge that they have about his involvement. Neither company, it was reported that they had dropped him as clients, but neither company is commenting on it. Again, there are some rumors. Deadline is running a report that this had to do with what they call personal behaviors, which could be inclusive of a domestic violence arrest. It could be other things, and there could be a concern about his viability as having him as a client with those organizations.
Sure.
Now, what's interesting is that we are going to see Jonathan Majors very soon in the upcoming season of Loki. And so, what does this mean for the marketing? I would really, really be bummed if, honestly, innocent or guilty of these charges, if they were to delay the release of the season simply to try to keep this stuff out of the news. I think that ultimately, I think most people understand you can separate the artist from activities and these things. I know that because people still talk about Woody Allen. So so that's definitely a big thing, and I'm curious to hear what the boys think about whether or not the Marvel or Disney should consider recasting, what that may look like, who could be somebody that might step in and fill a role. There's a lot of ways we could go about this. So what are your thoughts?
I think real quick, he was dropped by the United States Army through his commercials. That is one thing he was dropped from.
Oh, that's too bad.
So, they did quote, "While Mr. Majors is innocent until proven guilty, prudence dictates that we pull our ads until investigation of these allegations is complete."
It's, that may just be, overcorrecting to a point, but where there's smoke, sometimes there's fire.
Sure, I understand the military wanted to preach nonviolence.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. We're a peaceful military, guys. We're a peaceful nation. It would... I think jumping to recast is probably a little too... But if we see a push on Loki Season 2... then there's going to be pause.
Yeah, and I think that what happens in the next couple months is going to be what sets the next phase.
Yeah.
I think pushing will be like, they're probably going to recast. Maybe run Loki. That's kind of Jonathan Majors' Kang run, and then they recast for the movies.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way they got. That's the only way they can do this, unless he's completely exonerated, which even then, it still has that stank on him.
Yeah.
And people will still have that memory of him having a domestic abuse charge, regardless if he did it or not. Yeah. He's not Johnny Depp.
You haven't gotten the Johnny Depp clout yet, but he was on his way. Again, if this is true, I hope that he learns from it. But
I think he was self-defense.
Hey man, the sacred timeline.
That's what I would have
said.
said.
For all time, kids.
Equality all over.
Yeah. Batman's hands are equal opportunity, all right?
Yeah, they believe in equal rights. And that's for women.
Yes, there you go. It would be a huge... Marvel went on for so long without having any major problems, but at some time... Jonathan Major problems. But at some point, things catch up with you.
They do,
People are not always who you think they are. I'm
If,
still
if
waiting.
the MCU has taught us anything,
Yes.
not everyone is who they say they are.
Yes.
Hail Hydra. That's what he said when he was choking her.
Yeah. Oh gosh, you're terrible. But we'll see if the allegations stick. As Jordan said, Hollywood does have a short memory. When's the last time you heard about Ezra Miller? Besides Eric's ongoing adoration for his lifestyle choices, but it's going to be unfortunate for the Marvel fans. Hopefully, people are safe, nobody's hurt, and we can move on. But
Well, I mean, I feel like this phase is already
Pedro
up to a
Pascal.
fact.
Let's recast Pedro Pascal as Kang. Let's do it. He actually kind of looks more like Kang
I
in the
think
comics.
he does. No, he really
definitely
does.
more than Jonathan Majors
might
does.
work. But isn't he in DC properties?
Who cares?
I mean, I guess
Who
he could play
cares, man? Yeah.
So Ben Affleck, Christian Bale. We've got some people that have gone both Marvel and DC.
Flame will shine.
Yeah, David Desmalchin,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
GOAT. All right, he's not even both sides, but several entities on the DC side.
Yeah, Frank Grillo.
Frank Grillo too.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
what was Frank Grillo in DC?
Frank Grillo has just joined the cast of Creature Commandos as Rick Flag Sr.
That's right.
Oh, I didn't catch the senior part. I was like, oh man, why didn't they get that other guy back?
Well, I'm assuming it's his dad.
Yeah.
It could be someone from a Hispanic community. Maybe they were just saying senor.
Yeah,
Senor.
Rick Flag Senor.
Flag.
Yeah, that's not good for us kids, but hopefully, Rick Flag Sr., maybe there'll be a time jump thing where you can have Rick Flag Sr. and...
Regular Rick Flag.
No, not even that. Peacemaker's dad, that
would be
KKK
pretty-
dude fight,
pretty- yeah, that'd be pretty awesome,
Yeah,
actually.
I would be into that.
I think that I think Pedro Pascal. He's hot right now.
Yeah, he's hot
I
right now.
think he'd be perfect for Kang. Actually, he plays a good baddie.
Let's not recast until we have more information.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm speculating
I
if we
know,
have to recast, but that's a very good
I
option.
would, and Pedro does look like, check out Timeless from
Yes.
like 2021
Oh, yeah,
or 22.
yeah.
Looks just like him when he takes off his stuff to fight a bear.
Oh, yeah,
Sometimes you got to fight a bear, and that's just life. Paramount Plus is something that I have been, just not.
What is that?
I won't do it. I won't do it. I like Star Trek. But I won't get Paramount Plus to watch Picard, to watch all of these things. It is just another streaming service, okay? I don't want to do it. But Michelle Yeoh is going to play, at least to some extent, some lead in a Section 31 based show that it will be streaming on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, so she's been introduced in Star Trek Discovery, which was kind of a pun intended flagship projects of Paramount Plus. Kind of one of the big selling points was that we were getting a new Star Trek series from the franchise that was coming out, and she has been featured fairly prominently in the show, is my understanding. This project is being described as a movie, that it is going to be. It'll be exclusive to Paramount Plus. It is interesting though because Section 31 is very much a source of tension between Trekkies. As three people that I would assume the three of us are not necessarily big into the Star Trek. My cursory understanding of it is that some fans do not like the militancy of it. Section 31 was introduced in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, kind of this kind of shadow organization within the government. There is some conflicting evidence about kind of the origin. Some say it's part of the Starfleet Charter. Section 31 created this group that could do acts of sabotage, preemptive assassinations, which is really a fancy way of saying murder.
Yeah.
But some people, like myself with a very cursory knowledge, may remember that Star Trek Into Darkness did introduce in the J.J. Abrams verse, it did introduce Section 31, which was in the film led by RoboCop himself, Peter Weller.
Peter Weller. To some people's chagrin, I probably like Star Wars and Star Trek very equally. Like, I'm a really big fan of both.
Right.
Deep Space Nine is my Star Trek. That was the one I watched from beginning to end while it was airing. It came on at the right time. It caused me to go back, check out Next Generation, which I really enjoyed, but I love the Borg stuff. Because you guys know I love zombies. And what are the Borg, if not space zombies? Which then allowed me to find the universe. I had seen Wrath of Khan, I had seen, certain things, but First Contact one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
What?
Is Star Trek First Contact.
Okay.
It's so good. It pulls on all the right strings. It sets up many things that you didn't know were going to come. And for me, Section 31 totally makes sense. I was there when it came out. I was there too, and it was something that I thought made a lot of sense because even in First Contact, Jean-Luc Picard's trying to explain the economics of the future, and he says that there is no money. You know, we look to better ourselves, but
communism. Got it.
What is the driving force, and what maintains that balance? And we do find that Section 31 is that person in the shadow, is the CIA or whatever. Don't take us out. But they get a lot of stuff done. It was big during the Dominion War in Deep Space Nine, where they find out how to destroy the changelings, which, spoilers, kids, sorry, but it's been done for a long time. Section 31 is also early referenced in the kind of retconned origin of Star Trek with Enterprise, which has a fantastic crossover with First Contact and Borg stuff, and things that get found gets designated Section 31. So it's woven. I understand the Gene Roddenberry group, but it makes sense. Nobody stays good in this world.
It's true. Or even the universe, yeah.
So I'm here for it.
Yeah, I am too.
A show based, or a film based around that idea. Maybe this is because this is, oh God, you guys probably don't know. Is the Paramount stuff Kelvin Universe? Are you aware?
I do not. Oh, I do not believe it's associated with the theatrical film universes.
Double check, because I think it might. And if it is Kelvin Universe is the split timeline for J.J. Abrams' universe. I actually don't know what they call the Prime one, but they call that because of the event that happens on the USS Kelvin, where
old Spock,
old Spock,
Nimoy,
the man himself.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. Eric, you watched Deep Space Nine.
I did.
Quite a bit, if not all of it.
I did.
Were you a fan of the Into Darkness reveal when we saw that Section 31 was not only alive and well, it's who found Khan in space, which that was a year and a half before it came out. Big Tuna called it.
Yes.
Now, he didn't say Section 31, but he said, what if Star Trek? What if the Federation found the space seed? The episode's called Space Seed. What's it called? What's the ship called? Dang it! But what if they found them early and it was so crazy? I couldn't believe that he literally called it on the head. But when they find them, we find out they have the dark. I can't remember the Dark Enterprise that can fight in hyperspace.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it hyperspace?
Yeah, I think that's right.
That can fight in hyperspace. Yes, give me more of that. And it sucks but it's also cool because it is Black Ops, because they've never gotten their fair shake.
No.
They're always around, but you kind of like that too.
Well, I think to kind of quell some of the Trekkies who are at odds with the having a Black Ops Starfleet, it does make complete sense.
Yes.
What is that old quote, to have peace, you got to prepare for war?
Oh, yeah.
That makes total sense.
Parabellum.
Yeah. Something about Parabellum or whatever. Yeah. And I think that, I love the concept of it, that even people like Picard might not even know about it.
Yeah.
I think I like that.
Yeah.
That it's that kind of, in the shadows.
Yeah.
There's so many cool things we can take from this, so many cool stories.
Yeah.
Even just news stories about them, maybe it's seeping out into public knowledge.
Yeah.
There's Starfleet is assassinating people.
Yeah, dude.
And for the greater good, of course. But
because when Starfleet gets out there, they don't know any of all they have contact was of the Vulcans.
Yes.
The Vulcans are very pretentious.
Sure.
They are we're not going to let you go into deep space yet.
Sure.
We'll let you go when we think you're ready, type of thing.
Which I get.
The first time in Enterprise, the first time they encounter the Klingons, we don't know anything the Klingon is saying.
Yeah.
And they don't either.
Well, of course not.
Really, really interesting, really smart way to show this Earth, what are these beings?
Right.
What are they doing? Even the Vulcans aren't completely sure what they are.
Yeah.
So give me a Section 31 like miniseries too.
Oh, yeah. Plus,
Like I don't want a full season because you don't want too much of it.
Of course not.
But
Star
something
Wars, like, that's why.
Well, now see, I'm digging it. I'm in a Star Wars mood, kids. May the 4th is coming. More news on that later.
What about Revenge of the Fifth?
Yeah, so I do have some Star Trek updates. A couple of things. So number one, the first 2 seasons of Star Trek Discovery very much fit into the Prime timeline.
Okay.
Which would be the non-Abrams related.
Gotcha.
However, there are 2 references to events from the film universe, the Kelvin timeline, that are made mention. One of them talks about the disappearance of Ambassador Spock. The second reference comes from an episode in which a Starfleet officer who specializes in dimensions and alternate realities, and people walking around with goatees when they shouldn't. He talks about a soldier named Yor, a trooper for Starfleet named Yor, who had a condition due to his proximity to a Romulan mining vessel that had traveled through time. So which is the precipitating event in the original Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams film. We've got some overlap there for sure. A couple of things that are interesting. In 2019, it was announced that there was going to be a Section 31 series. That then now, with the announcement today, is that it's going to be made into a movie. Again, it might just be that Paramount's looking to make more of a bigger investment in telling the story.
Michelle Yeoh's an Oscar winner.
She's they just cleaned up everything everywhere all at once. And so maybe putting her in a movie, she might have some other projects down the line and might not be able to commit to a series run. So being able to do a movie, that might work for her. One of the other things that I found interesting is that Starfleet, the epitome of it is what they call the Prime Directive. And the Prime Directive essentially states that Starfleet is not to interfere with the natural development of species, which is every episode of Star Trek. So the idea that Section 31 can't exist because Starfleet's created to be peaceful, it's kind of one of these things where, in each of the movies, in each of the episodes, sometimes they make more of an attempt to not interfere. Star Trek Into Darkness opens with this, scene of them running away from this volcano that's going to wipe out this civilization. They're intending to stop it from being wiped out, but that's not considered a violation because you're not advancing superior technology or knowledge, or essentially it's the trolley dilemma. And so because they have the technology to save a natural occurring extinction from this alien species, Spock, Kirk, and the crew of the Enterprise intervene to stop it, but they can't be seen. That's the whole thing, is the ship is underwater, and as they leave, the aliens draw the ship of the Enterprise. So it's even in their attempt to avoid the Prime Directive, you fulfill it, which is very very Kung Fu Panda philosophy.
Did either of you guys spend time on the Orville? The Seth MacFarlane Star Trek show?
Never
themed
never
show?
seen it.
Dude, you'd actually, I think both of you would enjoy it, but Jordan, you really enjoy it too, because it is if I was in a coma and I woke up and the Orville was playing on my TV, I would be like, oh, they have a new Star Trek out.
Right.
And there is some comedy in it, some great Norm things. Norm voices a gelatinous blob character in there. And, but they do Star Trek things, but then put something of a funny twist. But they take some of it very seriously, and there's a great episode where his, lieutenant, the number one of that group, they go on this planet, and this planet's proximity to this star increases its time.
Right.
So she has to go down there, and she accidentally interferes, and some kids see her. And then when she goes back, it's hundreds of years later.
Right.
And there's a statue of her on this planet.
That's
and they
cool.
build their religion around her saving these people. And it was just oh, cool. We never actually saw, to that Into Darkness intro.
Right.
We don't see the ramifications of it. But in this one episode of the Orville, they showed you what your ramifications
Well, I think that's
be.
interesting that, it could be playing to the wave particle dilemma in science, where things will change based on what light hits.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily going to see it change, but you will see the after effect.
Yes.
That's kind of breaking it down into dumb terms. But yes, I think they're smart enough to do that.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that the Orville's taking that route too.
Dude, the Orville.
So I didn't expect it. Well, you saying that, I was not expecting that. I thought it was like a dumb Seth MacFarlane parody show.
It's not. And then he's such a MacFarlane's such a Star Trek fan himself.
Oh, yeah.
He was in an episode as like an extra of the Next Generation. But he's bringing in people from Voyager
Right.
and from Next Generation to like play other characters and bad guys.
Right.
And there's some very, very interesting stuff in there. It's totally worth a watch. I only watched season 1. I think there's 3 seasons, maybe plus a movie on Hulu or something. But the first season was really good. I just fell out of it.
You know what's crazy? You bringing up Orville as kind of an homage to Star Trek. We should talk about the greatest homage to Star Trek, which is we'll get there.
No. You're right.
Go ahead.
But no, you're saying the greatest homage. You're gonna have to defend that.
It's already escaping. What's the name of the movie?
Galaxy
Quest. Oh my god!
I put you on the spot.
I forgot.
I
didn't even. I've only seen it one time.
All right. So also on Paramount Plus, they announced that they're going to be doing a Galaxy Quest series. Correct, Jordan? And in the if you're not familiar with it, it is kind of a movie parody of Star Trek. Galaxy Quest is the Star Trek of this universe.
Right.
And it was a TV show that was really popular, and, it had its day in the sun. We see the actors later at cons and everything like that, and aliens from a far-off land, they get those television transmissions, and they actually think that these people are the heroes.
It's basically plot to Three Amigos.
Yes. Yeah, space Mexicans.
Space gringos.
And so these aliens, they abduct them to like, hey, we need help. These people are trying to fight us. Will you fight for us? Blah, blah, blah. It's a comedy. It's great. It's actually really fun.
Oh, yeah. It's actually, from what I remember, it's awesome.
Tim
Alan Rickman.
Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman.
Yes.
Who else? I think those are the big ones.
Bruce McCullough from Kids in the Hall.
Oh, my God.
But that's deep cuts right there.
And Sam Rockwell.
Oh, yeah. Holy crap, that is Sam Rockwell.
That's right.
Because he was like a red shirt
guy.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. It's a great movie. So, Jordan, take it away. Tell us what it's about.
Yeah, Galaxy Quest is interesting because it does kind of have this meta. I think the people that really enjoy Galaxy Quest get the humor they're going for. You see, like, they talk about the shows having this, like, like low budget. You go back and you see original Star Trek shows, and you see, like, the sets and the costumes and these things. They kind of played that up. One of the people that was on the show was a kid, but now he's a grown adult, and these things. And so it's an interesting take on, like, giving us sort of this alien race believing that this was real. These are real heroes. They built their ship like based on these transmissions and what have you. I think the series does have a lot of potential. I want to see them. I want to see it be Galaxy Quest in name and the kind of central plot that these actors and actresses on the show are kind of absconded by this alien race. But I don't want to see them use the same names. I don't want to see the same plots. Like, I want to see the concept remain the same. I want to see it adapted in a new in different way. The reason I say that is because I don't know if a lot of the humor of what makes the Galaxy Quest movie clever and its riff on Star Trek, the original series, I don't know if that's really going to work for this generation, but there's a lot of science fiction stuff out there from the last 20, 30 years that they could pull from. And it could be that this Galaxy Quest is a combination of, X-Files, Doctor Who, and different different things in a sense. It still has maybe a space and a Starfleet sort of mission, but like you see the fingerprints of those things, so that us in the current generation watching this new Galaxy Quest series on Paramount Plus are able to catch, like, oh, they're riffing on this. The phone booth is small, but inside it's big. Like those kind of things.
TARDIS.
I think that would be fun. So again, I want to see them keep the concept the same, but I want to see them take it in a new direction. And so I'm excited about it. It is not the kind of thing that. I think it's very easy for us to sit back and talk about how this remake or this sequel, how it ruined whatever. It doesn't actually ruin it. It may ruin your perception of something. But I remember we had this debate at the theater after we previewed the A Nightmare on Elm Street remake that came out. And we talked about how, did we like Jackie Earle Haley's portrayal as Freddy Krueger and these things. And one of the employees said that the movie, the remake, was so bad that it ruined the other movies.
See, that's ridiculous.
And I just thought to myself, like, how does it do that? Because really, what it's doing is it's affecting maybe your perception of the story, but those movies are still the same movies. You sit 10 people down, half of which have seen the movies, half of which haven't, they're still watching the same movie. And so, I'm the kind of person, like, I'm fine with adaptations. I don't want to see the same stuff, though.
Yeah.
That was one of my biggest complaints with the Watchmen movie. It looked fantastic. Zack Snyder was, he did a great job. I like some of the changes he made to the story, but a lot of it was almost panel for panel.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, if I'm watching a 3-hour movie, I want to get some different experience.
Yeah.
But then you reach the other side of the spectrum where it becomes unrecognizable to its source material. But I have high hopes. Fans really are digging the Star Trek stuff they've been doing in the on Paramount Plus. They have multiple live action and animated shows that are Star Trek themed. I think Below Decks is one of them. I think it's kind of their like sort of
After hours.
Yeah, it's their more family friendly Rick and Morty. Is my understanding. Haven't seen any of this stuff, but I have. I have a cursory knowledge of Star Trek. I believe I've watched all the movies. I've never watched a single series all the way through.
Holy son of a gun!
You know what? I really like. I don't know. They might have done this, but why don't they do like a Quark show where he's the bartender, and it's just central on them.
Yeah, it's just like
different
10
cast
minutes.
members. Yeah,
just 10 minutes.
They should just do shorts on YouTube. Just Quark pouring drinks, and then whoever Cisco comes in tells him his problems.
They should do like a Star Trek Cheers.
Yeah. Why not?
Like Quark's like, hey Norm.
I think. Oh, the Botany Bay. That was the ship. Sorry, it was driving me nuts. That's
where on the Botany Bay.
The Botany Bay is the ship where they find Khan.
Do you going back to Galaxy Quest? I might need to rewatch the movie.
Okay.
But do you think? Okay, I mean the royal we. Are we burned out on this meta commentary? Because I think it's come to the point of it just being overused, and pedantic, and it's. I think we're just kind of sick of it. Do you think there'd be a new way for them to envelop this meta, because that's a big part of the story,
dude? I'm a guy, I'm a guy who still is enjoying the MCU. So I'm if it's decent, I'm here for it.
Sure.
If it's good, I'm very excited. If it's better than that, hey.
Because I think Deadpool kind of kicked that into the ground as far as like the meta stuff.
It would be interesting if Galaxy Quest is like Jordan said, like in spirit. The film, but then say they can't get them home.
Sure.
So it's them coming back in the ship.
That would be kind of cool.
And then living some Star Trek
real adventures, yeah.
Because part of me thought they were going to do like the Galaxy Quest, like what those episodes were of that show.
See, that is a good way to do the meta thing.
That would be a good way to do
That's
the meta
really
thing.
Awesome, yeah.
So, give me more Star Trek, but again, I don't know if Dave's I feel like Dave's watched Picard because Dave is of our group of people. Dave's a Trekkie.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he probably doesn't want people to know that, but he knows a lot about Star Trek, and but he's classic though. He's Kirk.
Oh, he's Kirk.
Yeah,
okay.
he's OG
really?
Star Trek. Yeah, he's watched all of them. I don't know if he's watched all the shows.
I don't get the appeal of the first ones. Maybe again, it's that you had
the concepts are great.
Great, of course, but yeah, it's hard watch.
The white guy kissing a black chick on TV.
Some shirtless Asian gay dude swinging a sword around.
There's like
which is hot. I think that's hot.
There's a super cut of like Kirk like jump kicking bad guys constantly.
No.
Like that was his move. Was the jump kick. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Jordan, if you would watch a series, I would say The Next Generation is the best as a whole. But man, Enterprise is good. Deep Space Nine is super different from the rest of the Star Treks.
Because it's very
and out
centralized.
of all of the Star Trek universe, probably the two series I've seen the most of are Voyager and Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
It just happened to be, I'm in...
They were on at the same time.
Yeah, they're on like 9 o'clock on Fox, and it's like... And so I probably saw stretches of 5 episodes, and then maybe I missed a few, and then another 4 or 5 episodes that were in a row. But like beginning to end, and this and that, and the overlap, that's definitely something that's kind of lost on me. It is interesting though that Picard is wrapping up now.
Yeah.
They put the band back together. They got a bunch of the OGs from the Next Generation.
Mm-hmm. Like all of them, pretty much.
I think like
Brent Spiner was there recently too. I saw a picture of them all on set, and I was like, "Oh God, they're gonna get me with Picard." Because Picard's my favorite captain.
Oh God, yeah. No, I don't know. Cisco's pretty awesome, dude.
Cisco's cool, but he's weird.
That's what makes him cool. He's not like your typical captain, dude.
Yeah.
He makes really hard decisions.
You're using coded language. I know what you mean by not your typical captain.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know he's Jewish, but we're not going to hold that against him.
Jewish, all right? Kids, that's our show. If you like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. Let us know. Let me know what your favorite Star Trek show was below. I'd be very curious to see where they're at. Because Voyager had a lot of good Borg stuff. What's her face? 7 of 9.
Yeah. Oh, God.
One of the 90s babes.
Oh,
you know. And click that little bell so you know. Big Tuna's been putting up a lot of shorts. You guys have been watching the shorts.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. It's driving traffic. And to our new subscribers, welcome. Eric. Do you have any final thoughts for us today?
Yeah, where's our Babylon 5 remake? If we're doing this...
I think it's coming. I think it's coming quicker than not because Babylon, Battlestar got its remake.
Yeah.
Babylon 5 is popular enough that
I think it warrants a remake.
It warrants an attempt, guys.
I think, speaking of like all those Fox shows that aired after the news, or whatever, before the news, I think we should remake all of them. Mantis.
Oh, Mantis was dope.
Renegade.
Dude. The Sentinel.
The Sentinel. Yeah, let's maybe that's an episode.
Get some Lorenzo Lamas cameos. Big Tuna, give us a take.
Yeah, so, definitely Star Trek does have a long history of space Judaism. If I had to recommend you to another space religion, Frank Herbert's Dune is very much, it's space Islam. I am going through, I've never read the book. I had a hard time getting through the first chapter. I'm currently going through the audiobook of Dune.
It has
like 10 different voice actors. It's super engaging. Each chapter ends with some music, and it's just, it's super awesome. I'm really glad I've gotten into it. Super excited that Dune Part 2 is going to be coming up here soon. But yeah, so I think sci-fi fans have a lot to look forward to for sure.
That's cool.
Kids, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Roman Chavez.
I'm still Lorenzo Lamas.
And for the Big Tuna, we will catch you on the next podcast.